What's up, guys? It's John at National Sports Entertainment, and as I said, we're playing a lengthy schedule tonight. We got a 10-game NBA schedule, and if you missed it around midnight, sometime last night, I dropped our college plays for today, and we have a decent bit of college plays as well. So, just like yesterday, I expect us to do really well. So I'm going to run through these. Not much different than yesterday. A lot of these are narratives. A lot of these are just how I think the playoffs have to line up and certain teams have to look a particular way. So here we got Wizards Hawks, and I always look at the previous matchups too, just for shits and giggles, and we can see this one, we don't have any. So maybe it's telling us something, right? These teams are going to be playing 4 times in the next month and a half, maybe month and a week. Maybe it's letting us know that they might be matching up in the playoffs. Either way, I do like the Wizards here. I like the Hawks to cover the Wizards here. The reason being, as I said multiple times, I think our 9-10 teams are going to be the Wizards and the Bulls because I think it just makes sense, MJ's teams. So I don't think the Wizards pull too ahead of the pack, and I think they got to keep it all close with the Wizards, the Magic, the Pacers, the Bulls, the Raptors. So I do in this game like the Hawks to win, and I'll take them to cover. I think a lot of people are going to be on the Wizards with 7 points. And there hasn't been many games where they let Trey and let the Hawks feast. So I think this will be one of them, where they look like a legitimate bona fide team. Next, we got Bucks Nets, and I'm going to go with the Nets. Again, we're getting some points here, so I'll take it. At the same time, I think they want to push the narrative that in all NBA, as much as they love superstars, they love pushing the narrative that you need a team effort to win. And the Nets also, their fans know they got raped in that trade deal. That would not be accepted in 2K because it was ridiculous. They traded away for a guy they already traded away. They trade Dinwiddie away, trade for him back. Then they wind up trading other stars, KD, so they can get Bridges. It was just a colossal failure. So I think they have to make Bridges look like a bona fide superstar. And I said this before. He reminds me of Kawhi Leonard, the way they're transitioning him. Good basketball IQ. Started off as a defensive role player. Now he's transitioning offensively. He can pass. He can rebound. If he's on the court, he's got high efficiency. And then, of course, they're going to have Dinwiddie and guys like that play good. So while Bucks may win, I could see this being an upset. And at the same time, I think they want people believing, especially this far in the year, that the Nets can make a run with guys like Bridges, with guys like DFS, with guys like Claxton, everyone they got. So I do like the Nets cover here. If they don't win, I still think they cover. And then we move on to Bulls-Raptors. And on this one, I really like the Bulls. I think it just makes sense because, again, I think we're going to have these teams. I don't think the Raptors can pull 4.5 games ahead of the Magic. And if they win, they do. And you can see that difference. Where a loss, now they're only 2.5 ahead. So it makes a big difference. And those kind of swings, if that happens, now you've already kind of eliminated a playoff team. I just don't see that happening. So the same reason I had the Raptors in it earlier in the year, but I said I think they're going to finish 11, and I still stand by that. That's why I had them winning certain games, because I knew they weren't going to just rule them out. So I like the Bulls cover Raptors here, and I like that a little more than the other plays. Another one I like a little more than the other plays is the Grizzlies to cover the Lakers. I think they're going to give the Lakers a run towards the end of the season when LeBron returns. And they'll probably win a couple games they shouldn't, maybe something like this. But tonight's, in my opinion, a narrative game, and it's on TV for a reason, to show us the Lakers just don't have what it takes, right? Quote, don't have what it takes. No LeBron, AD is going to probably get worn down, and as good as Russell is, you got the Bane-Ja connection here. You got Brooks. You just have a feisty team, Jaren Jackson Jr. So I think they're going to really flex the Grizzlies so people believe that they can hang with the Nuggets in the West, hang with the Suns, etc. And the Lakers can lose this game. They're still going to give them a little run at the end. They're still right in it with the Thunder and all these other teams for the 10 spot. The Wolves, they're right there with each other. So Lakers can afford this loss at 9 points. People might still be on them. Don't forget, they just got Russell, so it's not like they don't have anybody. So I'll take the Grizz to cover here. Here I like this Nuggets-Rockets game. I do like the Nuggets to cover. Again, I think they want to establish the Nuggets as a bona fide threat in the West. They've won a couple close ones. They did have that pretty decisive win over the Wolves, but it took overtime. So I could just see, again, not that people are going to be all over the Rockets, but they got to give the Nuggets some loss. If they're going to pay out the public some games, I could see this being the one. Make the Nuggets look really strong. And I just don't see a ton of people really playing this game in general. So if I'm going to take a team where they're laying a lot of points, it's going to be one where I don't see a bunch of public on it. So leg one, I think the Nuggets will go ahead and cover the Rockets. Pretty simple game. And then we got Kings Thunder, and you know this is my favorite play of the night. I like the Thunder to cover the Kings. I just think you got to push a team that is definitely marketable like the Thunder. I'm not saying the Kings aren't, but again, the Kings at this point, from a playoff perspective, the Thunder need to win way, way more, especially if you're going to keep all these teams competitive. You can't have the Wolves, Jazz, etc. keep where they're at. Then the Thunder, Blazers, Lakers aren't chasing anything. So I think it just makes perfect sense the Thunder win this game. And it's my same logic for the Blazers beating the Warriors. Thunder win or Thunder cover and Blazers cover. I like both of them because we're getting a few points in close games. And at the same time, I think that the public's going to be on the Kings. I think the public's going to be on the Warriors. And I think the Blazers and the Thunder need the wins more. So I have them both covering. And in between them, I got the Mavericks covering. I think, again, if the Pacers are going to win, they're going to win. But in a game like this, they're probably going to lose and probably not cover as well. They'll get their wins where they matter more when they play a team like the Hawks, where they play a team like the Nets, something like that. But against the Mavericks here, I think they're going to make the Mavericks continue to look strong. As I said earlier, I think these trades at the buzzer was to set up almost every team in the West looking unstoppable. And then you're going to have a few in the East, but they're really stacked in the West. So just to run it back, again, Thunder, I like that one a lot to cover. Then we're going Mavs cover. We're going Blazers cover. And I do like, for Spurs Jazz, we're going to go with the Spurs. We're going to go with the Spurs to cover. If you notice, I wasn't chasing them when they lost 8, 9, 10 in a row. Now I think they're at like 15 or something. And it's not even the losing streak. It's just the fact that 10 points, even though it sounds like, okay, it's the Jazz, or I still don't see a ton of people on the Spurs. I don't see the value there. I think people are way more inclined to even take the Rockets, believe it or not, at home, just for the fact that I think there's a lot of people that will just chase losing streaks, and there's a lot of people that might have been on the Spurs, now they just want to stay away. So, not saying that, it's a great logic, but I purposely stayed away from them for a couple games. We faded them for a couple games during the streak. I have a feeling this would be a good game for them to turn it around. Also, again, Jazz win makes it tougher on a lot of these other teams that are chasing and nipping at their heels. So I think a Jazz loss just makes sense here. So I like a Spurs cover. And of course, like I said, I like a Blazers cover. And to cap it all off, we got the Wolves Clippers. And for that one, I did go back and forth on. But I did decide that I like the Clippers cover. I like the Clippers cover because, again, it's TNT. I think they're trying to establish dominant teams. The Wolves, they're not as dominant as they were. They got rid of some pieces. The Clippers added some pieces. So realistically, they should win. But also, the narratives they like to tell us realistic narratives. So I think they're going to have the Clippers look strong. You can see them coming into their own even. They're giving Westbrook a couple more minutes each game. And Powell, Batum kind of doing their role more so. They're really starting to look like a championship team, to be honest. So I don't want to make this too long-winded, but I wanted to go into why I liked who I like. As you can see, I like some games more than others. I like Mavericks cover, Thunder cover, Bulls cover. I like the Grizzlies cover. If you notice, most are in the West. I like them more than, say, Wizards, Hawks, Bucks, Nets, because they really could go either way. Although I am definitely leaning Hawks because I think, again, you have to establish them as a mid-tier playoff team, and the Wizards don't need this win when you got the Pacers and these other teams behind them. But yeah, so as you can see, we got 10 plays, and this is, again, I do this every single video for anyone wondering. We're up about 90 units, and this is something we always do in Lifetime. If you missed it, as you can see, we've already plugged in our college games. We got quite a few. It's about 7 college games, I think. We got Butler covering. We got a couple overs. We got the West Michigan over. We got the Ohio Kent State over. But you can look at that video if you hadn't seen it. We've done well with hockey. And this is all we're going to do. Same thing I did with everything else. So every leg one loss, we plug in a leg two. So Grizzlies cover Lakers is a leg two. Okay. So we just go back. For the last time we lost a leg one. And as I told you, I've been closing these all. That's why we don't have a bunch of outliers. But here's one. We did not get the Canucks win over the Bruins. It would have been plus 215. This was a couple nights ago. But like I said, we're not going to get all those hockeys. But we have closed a decent bit of hockeys at plus odds, as you can see. So that's going to just be plugged in as a leg two there. Nets Bucks is a leg one. Okay. So that one's just going to be for one unit. That's going to be its own sequence. If that does lose, since it's an early game, I'll just show you what I personally do. Say the Nets do not cover. We just do something simple like Thunder Kings is going to be, I think it's a later game, right? Thunder Kings? 8 o'clock. Okay, so we would ideally look for a later game. Wolves, Clippers, something like that. Since the Clippers Wolves is a leg one and all these are leg ones in this case, I don't think the Mavs Pacers, so they start at 8:30. We might have an idea of what's going on with the Nets game there, but probably not. So what I usually do is if we have a couple 7 o'clock games and it looks like at least one's going to lose, then we just lock in our leg two because we know we're going to need a leg two at some point, right? Unless we think we're going to run all the leg ones. So you see we have a lot of leg ones in here. Also, I think one starts at 6:30. I think it's Marquette. But just to show you essentially how it works, bam, okay? If our 6:30 loses by 8:30, we should definitely know what's going on with the Mavs Pacers, and then we just plug that in as a leg two. For now, we're not doing that because we don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just showing you guys that in live time, this is how I'm able to just plug leg twos in, etc. Okay? And then for the rest of them, they're all leg ones outside of, like I said, we got the Thunder Kings here. And we got the Mavs Pacers. And then the other one I plugged in here, as you can see. We had to scroll up a bit. And we got the Thunder did not cover the Kings last time. Almost makes me want to make it a leg three, to be quite honest. And run it as a... Just run it again. We ran it the other night, obviously. It didn't hit. But where are we at? So yeah, we got the Thunder Kings, Mavs, Pacers. And then, like I said, the last one I liked just because of in my opinion, the metrics. I'm trying to find, I just plugged it into. Maybe I went up further than I thought. There it is. Grizzlies, Lakers. I really think the Grizzlies will cover the Lakers. Just for the mere fact, I think 9.5 points is a lot. Lakers are still a good team. And I just don't, I think they're going to make the Grizzlies look strong. So just like I did for the Grizzlies, Lakers here, for any of the ones that lose tonight, any of our college, 6, 7 o'clock, or they're just looking really bad and they're going to lose. A lot of times with the over-unders, like this West Michigan, Miami, Ohio over, you could tell about 40 minutes into the game if it's going over or under. I'm not saying every time, but we have a good enough idea. So no leg threes, nothing crazy. We're going to keep the Thunder cover Kings a leg two. I thought about making it a leg three because they just played them and didn't cover, but I don't want to chase that rabbit just because I like the game. But as you can see yesterday, we went almost perfect with leg two and threes, and it's because I really stuck to the ones I really, really liked. So here it is. Again, these two leg twos, I'll kind of separate them. All we're going to do with these is plug them in for any leg one losses. So if you have a leg one loss currently, that's just outstanding from yesterday. As you can see, I don't. I've closed mine. There might be some. See, you can see we have a couple leg two losses that we have to plug in leg threes for. But I have to go back pretty far to find a leg one loss. So for these two, we're just going to wait to see what happens and plug them in as a leg two. You can plug them in now if you have an open leg one and you need a leg two. And the rest of these I'm running as leg ones. Hawks cover, Blazers cover, Clippers cover, Bulls cover, Nuggets cover, Spurs cover. Of these leg ones, my favorite is the Bulls cover, probably followed by the Blazers cover. Okay, So if you're curious, I do like the Bulls a little more than these other ones down here, but it's still going to be a leg one. Again, leg one means 1 unit, leg two means 2 units, and of course, leg three means 4. Next, I'll have our hockey picks out. I'm going to look at them because we have a full hockey schedule as well. I'm not playing the full hockey schedule, but hockey takes me a little longer to look into because I use metrics and I have to play games that, again, only give us favorable odds. As you can see, all these games, this is like in the last less than a week. We got the Flames twice, we got the Leafs twice, we got the Bucks, Ducks. We got all these teams at plus 120 or better. So, and plus 225 on one occasion. So we're going to stick with hockey. We're going to keep running that. But I wanted to get NBA out, college out, and hockey out because I know a lot of people like to do cross-sport parlays. If you're going to do a parlay, I would recommend cross-sport. We did go 100% yesterday in the NBA, but overall, I've noticed I've always done better when I pick 2 locks from each sport. I think the NBA knows, and they have it where, certain teams are going to be parlay killers. Same thing with the other sports. But yeah, not to ramble on, I like to, like I said, in every video, go over who I like, why I like them, for how many units, because I get asked so many times, how do you make your picks? How can I get into your Discord, et cetera, et cetera. And again, they're all here. Everything's here. Right now we're up 87 units. That's not even including the plus 225s and whatnot, because I've also accounted for juice. But you can see how hockey's really helped us. And I think probably tonight could be the night we crack 100, just because of how many we're going to have in play. And yeah, we could have a rough night, like Jake Paul the other night. I thought we were going to crack 100, and obviously we lost a leg 4. But here we have mostly leg 2s in play. Now we want to at least split them or do better. We don't want to lose too many leg 2s because then we have a bunch of leg 3s we have to close. But yeah, I just wanted to go into the system a little more detailed for you guys so you can see it's not just random picks. I really use value and try and extract the most value I can with every pick. With hockey, that's why I've been doing the leg 1s. It's a risk to do a plus 200 as a leg 2-3. It would pay better, but I'm just trying to get us to show you how easy you can close sequences one at a time. Hockey, I know nothing about, and we're 15-13 right now, and that's with picking only 500% or worse odds, or 50% or worse odds, not 500, 0.500. So again, with hockey, we're not picking easy ones, but it's just metrics that I believe work. And for basketball, same thing. Mavs cover, Thunder cover, and the Grizzlies cover, I think, are the best plays of the night. So these are going to be our 3 NBA leg 2s. If you had to make another one a leg 2, like I said, Bulls work, Blazers work, but I'm keeping them leg 1s for now. So keep your eye out for my hockey video. And like I said, we'll probably have about 20 or so total plays tonight, and I think we do pretty good and close in on around 100 units. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.